Hey, Aiden here from CuriousDIY. Welcome to the cable stayed bridge tutorial video. In this project kit, I'll be showing you how to assemble the cable stayed bridge. It is really an epic type of bridge. As you know, there are 5 main types of bridges. We've got the arch, the beam, the cable stayed, the truss bridge, and the suspension bridge. And this one is the cable stayed bridge. So as you can see, on a cable stayed bridge, all of the suspensions are not going from a main beam that is coming along the line as a suspension bridge would. Instead, all of these cables are running to central pillars or central verticals. That is what makes a cable stayed bridge a cable stayed bridge. Cable stayed bridges are extremely strong. They are very beautiful to look at, and they really make a city where they exist just come to life a little bit. So we are going to be making this bad boy today, and I'm very excited. I hope you are too. So like I said, grab your kit and let's jump straight in. Alright, stunning. So here is our cable stayed bridge. Let's give this guy an open. And let's take a look at what is inside. Alright, so as always we have got our front insert, which is just for the packaging. You can throw that away. Back insert as well, you can throw that guy away. And then let's go one thing at a time. So we've got a piece of cardboard, a 10 centimeter by 20 centimeter cardboard. You won't be needing that. We've got some 2 large elastics, your Curious sticker as always. We now have got a 10 by 5 centimeter sticker label. Okay, then you have got 2 wooden profiles that look the same. That is perfect. You've got 2 of those, and you've got 2 other wooden profiles that also look the same. Just like so. These are obviously longer ones. They almost look as though they are double the first one. Then you are going to have 6 of these little pieces. They look a little bit like a rail. That's because they are, and that's what they are going to be used for. And then you're going to have 2 A-frames that look like this. 2 A-frames, and they are all part of this kit. You're then going to have 3 black paints, so 3 syringes of 3 milliliter paint. It is just acrylic, so it will come out of your clothing, but be careful not to mess on yourself at all in this project. And then 3 milliliters of wood glue. Gonna have a little paintbrush. It's the cutest little thing on earth, but this paintbrush will be able to do the trick for everything, so keep that to the side. Alright, and then finally we have got some thread. There is 3 meters of thread here, which is plenty for your model. So let's get stuck in, why don't we? So in the middle are going to be the 2 hourglass profiles. They're going to sit together like so, and that is how they're going to join together. And then these smaller pieces are going to go on the outside. So we're going to, by the end of it, have one long piece that changes shapes like this. It's really cool looking. Okay, so let's just start with the 2 middle ones from now. So the way that they're going to join together is these rails have got teeth on them at the bottom. The teeth are going to slot nicely into that hole, the ones that the holes that are shared between both pieces, and that hole. So you can just clip it in like so. You can have the rail facing either way. It is symmetrical. And push it in place. You might need to give it a bit of force, which is obviously a good thing because it means our bridge is going to be nice and sturdy. See, already it's nice and stuck. Alright, and then we're going to clip out another rail. And I'm going to do the same thing here. There we go. Beautiful. Look at that. A nice little rail in the middle of our bridge. So let's just move it to the side and add one of these smaller pieces. Oh, look what the scissors does to it. How cool is that? To the compass. Moves it around. Of course, because compasses are magnetic and they are attracted to metals. Or magnetic fields, should I say. That's a better way of putting it. Okay, so these little pieces underneath the rails, no need for them. You can throw them away. But these pieces are the ones we want. Just be careful with them. Be careful with the pieces. They are a little bit brittle, so just be gentle. Well, there we go. We have the length of our bridge, also known as the deck. Okay, the deck of our bridge is good to go. If your pieces feel a little bit loose, which is totally normal, don't stress. If that is the case, just underneath, press everything down a little bit. Make sure it's all fitting quite nicely. It should be quite flat at the bottom. So if the pieces have a little bit of a recess like this, or even like that, just push it even more. Like that. There we go. And if you really want to be extra safe about it, to make sure that your bridge is totally fine, you can add a little bit of glue to all of these joints. I recommend putting just about a dollop and a dollop. So that was a very big one at the beginning. Great, and then let that soak for a little bit. Let it absorb into the gaps so that it sits nicely. What you can even do is take the part of your sticker that is no longer needed, the paper side. You can just kind of smear it in a little bit. Just to get extra surface area gluing and bonding nicely. There we go. This is the underside of the bridge, so don't worry about making it too neat. If you would like to just neaten up by rubbing, just getting rid of all the excess glue, just to hide it all, that's totally fine. It will also dry faster that way. Great. And this piece, of course, you can now throw away. So give it a bit of a blow. Maybe let it sit for a little while so you can put it to the side. Once you're happy with how your bridge has set, we are going to lay it on the table. And you're going to grab a craft knife or a pair of scissors, but I strongly suggest a craft knife in this instance, because if you use scissors, you're going to feel a little bit awkward. But a craft knife is a very sharp blade, so be very careful with how you operate it, always working away from yourself and doing so with the supervision of an adult. So at this point, we want to now take a small bit of the wood over here between the rails, just on the sides, about not even ½ centimeter in. We're just going to carve it away from ourselves and just carve a little bit of the wood away. Like so. That is perfectly enough. It's a very small little notch. You can add the same at the bottom. Just a little bit. Voila. There we go. So we've now got it on both sides, top and bottom. So it's a nice little notch. And you're going to do this for all 4 of the choke points. So 1, 2, 3, 4. No need to worry about it here, only here. Once you're done with your craft knife, be sure to pack it away correctly, so that it no longer is going to be a problem or a potential finger biter. We would hate for that. Great, so now we've got some notches on all 4 of the edges. So now when we put our A-frames on, they're going to have enough space to slot down only in those notches we've created. There you go, there's one, and it's going to be loose for now, but not to worry. So there's one on that side and one on the other side. Absolutely awesome. Okay, so right now it's a wobbly bridge. I would not want to drive on it at all. I think it would be incredibly dangerous. So for now we can actually take one step back. Let's take these off, why don't we? We know that they fit, so that's a good thing. And let's make a road. Before we have the structures in the way, so that we can't do it. So here's what you're going to do. Using your paint, you can make a bit of a zigzag on 1/3 at a time. Alright, don't use the whole tube, just use what you feel is right. So for me, I'm quite happy with that. That feels right. See, I've barely used any. You could probably do the whole tube on one tube on the whole thing. And then you just want to spread your paint in the road. I've used a lot of paint here, so I'm noticing it's actually too much possibly. But what you can do is just get into all the edges, into all the corners, and then keeping a nice straight line on the open areas. So let's go through the corner. Nice straight line there. And smear the paint. Alright, so once you have finished your bridge and you're quite happy with how dry it is and how nicely spread the paint is, what I did was I went over it a few times this way and then a few times this way, so lengthways, and then sideways, and then lengthways, and then finished off sideways so you can see these streaks. But I did that to get a nice even spread. So once you're finished, we are now ready to start putting on the A-frames. So we know already that they fit, which is great. So we're just going to slide them into place like so, and do the same thing on the other side like so. Great. Again, I would not want to be on this bridge, but let's make it something pretty sturdy. So using your thread, you just want to undo the thread, get a nice length, quite a bit, almost like a meter. A meter to start off should be fine. And then you want to go through the top of the one A-frame and the other side as well. And then here you want to tie a knot. Get it as tight as possible, and then just do a second, like a double knot, just to get it nice and tight so that it won't come undone. Nice and tight. Voila. Okay, and then you can clip off the short end, leaving about 1/2 centimeter. That should suffice. And then here's where the fun begins. So now we will go. We'll go from the top to the outside. Top, outside, work our way in and down. So we're going to go from the top of the A-frame to the outside of the bridge, underneath, and back up. Now here you want to go to the top one as well, so the other side of the knot you just tied. And then pull your A-frame straight, pull it tight, and then from here go to the middle outside. So that is that notch over there. Pulling it in underneath, getting that A-frame nice and straight, and to the other outside, and not to the top, but now we're going to the middle. Oh, pardon me, we are going to the top. Okay, but now you're going to go down to one of the middle notches. But what we can do is actually put the thread, what's going on here? We're going to feed the thread through the underside of the 4 supports we've just made. You're going to go from there to the middle A-frame notch, putting it nice and tight, going down to the middle on this side. So you always, if you're coming from this side going through the notch, you want to keep the thread going. So you want to then go to this side. We're going to go from there and bring it under. And through there, through the middle, keeping it nice and tight, not too tight. The thread does have a breaking point. And back through the middle. Great, and now we're going to go straight from here, back underneath everything, to now the bottom notch at the top, and to the bottom, to the inside notch at the bottom on the deck. Let me give myself some more thread. inside notch and through the bottom notch on this side and the inside notch on there, underneath and through the bottom notch. There we go. And now the final step is to tie a knot. So to just tie this around, so we're going to go from this bottom notch to this one, and then take about 10 centimeters and cut that thread there. Great. Now we're going to bring it back around. And tie a neat little knot over here. There we go. And we'll do another one. Always do double knots, it just is obviously always more secure. I think perhaps more space on the end would be a good idea. Great. And just clip the last little bit off. And voila, there is our cable stayed bridge, or at least one side of it, and you can feel it's quite nice and stable. That's not going anywhere. And repeat the process on the other side. If you'd like to start on the inside rather, that is totally fine. So that means at the top, tying the knot not on the top two notches, but rather tying it around the bottom two. Again, tying a double knot for extra security. Great. And you want to clip about 1/2 centimeter. And now you're doing the exact same thing, except now in reverse. So I'm going to, for example, start here at the bottom. I'm going to go inside and outside. Through the bottom notch. Through the inside notch. This first step is very important, that you get the tension right. And then through the outside, no, I'm going to go up to the middle. In the middle, middle. Middle. Middle, and middle. And at this point, we're going to come across to the top, to the outside, outside, top, outside, outside, and let's give ourselves some slack on the thread, and back to the top, and then we can wrap it around. I'm going to just do it a few times. I know it's excessive, and then I'm going to give myself lots of thread as breathing room, and tying it to the top outside support. And then just tuck in the excess by wrapping it in. It will stay tucked in. It shouldn't go anywhere. And there we have it. That is our cable stayed bridge, or at least it's missing one last thing. But for now, it's got its supports. That's all in place. If you would like to still add some more support, or at least being able to seal the rest of the threads off, you can add a little dollop of glue on all of these notches, top and bottom, and then it will just make sure that the thread is actually glued to the MDF. So here, for example, I'll go one there, one there, one there, just like that. And maybe with your finger just push it in, and then when that dries, that is not going anywhere. That will definitely stay as is. And just close your glue again. I'm not going to do all of them for the sake of the video, but of course, if you need to and you want to do all of them, by all means. So now we're on our final step. I'm going to put this over here. So you're going to grab some scissors and using your 5 by 10 centimeter label, cut it into roughly ½ centimeter long strips. So the first little bit I'm going to cut and throw away just to get rid of those rounded corners. And then from there, roughly ½ centimeter, kind of just estimating, making sure that they're all about the same size. You'll need about 8 of these. That should be fine. This little extra I'll put to the side in case I need it. And then on your bridge, you're going to add lanes. So these will be your lanes, and you're just going to choose what feels like the right spacing, peeling everything off and putting them on. Oh, no, that's not going to work. I might get this in 6, it seems. If you want to make your lanes a little bit smaller for whatever reason, or even bigger, longer, it's really that's really a decision that you can make. Oh, not perfectly in the middle, but that's okay. That's okay. We get the idea of it. I think this last one maybe can wrap around. I don't see the problem with that. And tuck it away. Well, there we have it. That is a complete cable stayed bridge. Complete with the cables, now a lane and some rails. And if you perhaps have some small car models that you have, whether at school or at home, feel free to place them on. Perhaps if you have some small trees, like little model trees, you can add those. If you'd even like to use the rest of your paint to paint all of the MDF black, by all means. If you have other color paints around, you can paint it whatever color you'd like, perhaps a nice red, or perhaps even a white, or like a gray for the concrete. It's really up to you. So yeah, well done, and until next time.
Thanks for watching, and stay curious.